Well, this is a good reason to make sure your cats don't have ear mites or itching their ears a whole bunch. This poor kitty came in earlier today with a big swelling on its ear. Didn't you? Now if you get closer to it, you can see, yeah, come on in. You can see on this kitty, its ear is all shaved and there's sutures on the inside. Of course, he's waking up from anesthetic, so we're not gonna bug him too much, are we? So what happened was, these kitties were itching and itching and itching at their ears and got a big balloon swelling in them. Let's take a look at the ear and see what it might look like. Well, this big balloon swelling in a kitty's ear is like this. Look at that. Look at how big that is and thick. See, I'm holding the ear like that's thick. This is what ears should be like. Very thin, no swelling. Do you see that? You see that black gunk in there? That black waxy gunk is, and the black waxy gunk in there, do you see that? That can be caused by a little critter called an ear mite. And ear mites can cause intense itching in ears. And when a cat intensely itches their ears and shakes their head, they can break a blood vessel in their ear. And this blood vessel will swell up or leak and fill the ear with all kinds of fluid. So that's like clotted blood and serum. Sometimes we can drain it, the serum out of the ear in dogs with a needle, and on one of my other YouTube videos, I actually drain the fluid out and inject a little cortisone in it. But with cats, they tend to recur when you do that. So, and cats with chronic ear mite infections sometimes keep getting the infections. They can't get rid of the ear mites. So we usually make an incision. I'll show you how we make an incision and sew it up with sutures so that it stays closed. So if your cat has that, you can treat it by, if you don't have any ear mite medicine around the house, which you probably don't, then you can use mineral oil to treat it first, and then you can order some Revolution monthly flea control, which also will treat ear mites in cats. And also Advantage has a flea control product for cats that will treat ear mites. So check with your veterinarian about that. If you don't treat the mites, if your cat's itching in its ears a lot, it may burst. The blood vessel might burst, not the whole cat. That was bad. And it may swell up and cause this medical problem that you may have to get fixed. And a problem like this is expensive. So what we do to diagnose this is we take a swab, a Q-tip, and we put it in the ear and see, look at the cat itch. Watch. Because it is very itchy. Itch, 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 itch. Well, wouldn't you itch if I put a swab in your ear? Look at that black waxy gunk. Why don't you come on in here and show this the black waxy gunk? And we put it right on a slide. And do you see all that? See how that waxy gunk is? Now I put some mineral oil in it, and I'll look inside it, and we'll see if we can see the ear mites. Now Nikita's putting the slide on the microscope, and then she's going to look in the scope, and she's going to look for ear mites. And look what we found. We found an ear mite. There it is. So this kitty and its brother were both infected with ear mites, and that causes their ear to get inflamed and sensitive, and when they shake their head, the blood vessels burst. So if your cats have black waxy discharge and they're scratching their head, beware. Here comes the gross part. We actually make a cut into the ear, into the inside skin of the ear, and you'll be able to see the cartilage inside, and you'll be able to see
the blood vessel that burst inside. It's got a little black dot in there as we peel the ear apart. We then take, after we take clean out the inside of the ear, we'll take a little bit more skin and make the hole larger, so when we suture it all down, then it can drain and heal from the inside out. Because if it closes too quick, it'll just recur again, and we don't want that to happen. Then after we make the hole larger, we'll actually flush it all out with water, or sterile water. You can see taking the skin off and really nicely and making the hole bigger. Then we'll flush it with water um, in order to get all the blood and stuff out of there. Um, you can see that there's cartilage in the ear, and we can peel the skin back. It gives you a good idea of what the anatomy of the ear looks like. Then what happens is we'll sew up the we don't sew the incision together, but we push the needle through to the outside of the ear and then back to the inside, and we tie a knot. You don't want to tie it too tight because it will squeeze off the blood supply, and it can kill that skin and cause a problem, even leave a little hole in the ear. And you don't want that. Most pet owners don't want a hole in their cat ear. Would you want a hole in your cat ear? No, I wouldn't want one. So anyway, we sew that all up, and we put a whole bunch of sutures just like that all through the ear, so that it's kind of spot welded down, and so it heals together nicely. And so it'll slowly heal over a few weeks with some antibiotics, and that hole will slowly fill in, and hopefully the ear won't get all crinkled. So I hope you kind of enjoyed that video about seeing ear hematoma in cats. It's not as common as it is in dogs, but it can happen with ear mites. It can happen with the cat bite abscesses, and actually ears can be infected also. Some cats will get chronic ear infections if they have food allergies, which aren't as common in cats as dogs, but sometimes it takes avoiding grains in cat food or feeding raw food in cats what may take care of ear infections. So that's today's grossness, and I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my website, Dog Dish Diet. Feed Your Pet to Avoid the Vet is a slow cooking crock pot cookbook for dogs and cats. With cats, it's always better to feed them wet food actually than dry food, because wet food has more moisture and more oils than dry food, and cats generally tend to not develop as many medical problems with dry food. Or if you have a cat that's obese, tends to be obesity, it might get diabetes. They can get more inflammatory bowel disease with dry food than wet food. So if your cat has diarrhea all the time, it's nice to try some wet food. And if you just rather know what's in your cat's diet, you can try to cook for it, see if it likes it and eats it. Anyway, have a great day.